Hello and welcome to Firstpost Spotlight, where we bring you stories that matter to you from all across the world. From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, we shed light on issues that shape our world. I'm Alison Lagrange, live from Durban, South Africa. Let's begin with the top headlines. Israel strikes Syrian military's headquarters in Damascus, citing the interim government's alleged actions in the country's south against Druze civilians, which Tel Aviv has vowed to protect. Global Aviation Industry Group says there is a strong argument for putting video cameras in airline cockpits to assist in accident investigations, days after the release of a preliminary report on last month's Air India crash. The United States unveils plans to build facilities for smaller vessels operating in the western Philippines, with one just 240 kilometers east of a fiercely contested reef in the South China Sea. A Chinese court sentences a Japanese businessman to 3.5 years in prison on spying charges. Tokyo urges Beijing to ensure the early release of its citizen. And the French far-right leader Marine Le Pen and her two sisters lose an EU court battle against a decision seeking the repayment of over $250,000 US, allegedly embezzled during their late father Jean-Marie Le Pen's tenure. Hello and welcome. US President Donald Trump has announced a trade deal with Southeast Asia's biggest economy, Indonesia. And the troubled airplane maker Boeing once again appears to be walking away with a fat contract. Under the agreement announced by Trump, Indonesian goods entering the US will face a 19% tariff, down from 32% initially announced. And in return, Trump said that Indonesia will purchase 50 Boeing aircraft, along with $15 billion in U.S. energy products and $4.5 billion in farm goods.
So we made a deal with Indonesia. I spoke to their really great president, very popular, very strong, smart, and we made the deal. We have full access to Indonesia, everything. As you know, Indonesia is very strong on copper. But we have full access to everything. We will pay no tariffs. So they are giving us access into Indonesia, which we never had. That's probably the biggest part of the deal. And the other part is they are going to pay 19%, and we are going to pay nothing.
As you just heard, while outside the White House, Trump has hailed the US-Indonesia Trade Pact a great deal for everybody. But as always, with the ongoing Trump-era trade, there is more to the story. Many of the planes that Indonesia is set to buy are Boeing 777s, a model currently under a cloud of doubt. Earlier this year, a former Boeing engineer turned whistleblower warned of safety defects across hundreds of Boeing 777 and 787 jets, including misaligned parts and structural stress. The U.S. Federal Aviation Administration is still reviewing those claims, but the shadow over the 777 persists. And the timing? Sensitive. Boeing's reputation took another hit last month after an Air India Boeing 787 Dreamliner crashed in India's Ahmedabad, killing 260 people and raising fresh questions about safety, compliance, and oversight at Boeing. In this year alone, Boeing has clinched deals in Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE, all announced during or shortly after presidential visits. Now in May, Trump unveiled a $14.5 billion Etihad order for 28 Boeing jets, and another order from Qatar Airways for up to 210 aircraft. Meanwhile, investors are wary. Boeing's stock closed down after Trump's Indonesia trade deal announcement, a rare dip in the wake of a massive order. Perhaps a sign that the markets see the headlines but smell the risk. For now, Indonesia may get better tariff terms and Boeing may pad its order book, but the aircraft being sold remains under a cloud. And amid ongoing safety audits and global scrutiny, a glaring question remains. Is now really the time to celebrate a Boeing 777 comeback? Now, what if you are told that terrorists are trading weapons on platforms you use every day? WhatsApp, X, two of the world's biggest tech platforms, and right now they're quietly hosting a thriving black market. Weapons, grenade launchers, American M4 rifles, all being sold by Houthi-linked arms dealers in Yemen. Some of them even reply directly to Elon Musk, the owner of X. Now this is a digital arms bazaar. A new report by the Tech Transparency Project, or the TTP, exposes a disturbing truth. At least 130 X accounts based in Yemen are openly selling weapons of war. 61% of them popped up after Elon Musk bought X, then known as Twitter, in October of 2022. 59% of such accounts have openly traded arms on the platform since the last 6 months. More than half are based in Sana'a, the Houthi-controlled capital of Yemen. Some even use the Houthi emblem on their gun boxes. The same group labeled a terrorist outfit by the US. And what are they selling? AK-47s, RPGs, Turkish-made M4 clones, and more. One dealer posted 4 M4 carbines with grenade launchers attached. The price tag, $10,000 US. TTP identified 9 other Yemen-based accounts on X that offer rifles in boxes. The boxes carry the Houthi emblem. Now, one such post offered AK-47s for about $1,500. Another post was selling what it described as a Yemen-manufactured AK-47. About a quarter, or 35 such Yemen-based accounts, offered what appeared to be US or Western military weapons. The most frequently offered US government weapon was the M4 carbine, a rifle used by the US Army. The origins of the US-branded rifles are not clear. However, the M4s were among the American-made weapons left behind in Afghanistan. Another account was identified that reportedly offered more than weapons. It posted an image of a Starlink satellite internet terminal for sale in July of 2024. Starlink, which is a part of Musk's company SpaceX, prohibits the unauthorized resale of its devices. Both X and WhatsApp have clear rules. No weapons sale, no terror group promotion. But these accounts, they are not even hidden behind closed doors. More than 50% of the sellers even signed up for X Premium, posting extended videos showing off American M249 machine guns. And they use professional labels like gun store, shopping, and retail. Some accounts even added tip buttons to collect money. And here's the kicker. X placed ads below these gun-selling posts. Ads from CPAC, Trump, op-eds, and even Tesla Accessories, a company run by Elon Musk. One arms dealer even replied to Musk's video of himself firing a sniper rifle with an offer to sell the same model. And then there's Meta, the parent company of WhatsApp. The report added by TTP also added more than half of these traders' direct buyers to WhatsApp business accounts. Meta promotes these accounts as a way for businesses to engage audiences. These WhatsApp accounts reportedly operate without secrecy. Around 28 such accounts clearly stated in their profiles that they were dedicated to buying and selling weapons. Roughly a quarter, or 17 of the WhatsApp arms trader accounts displayed their wares in catalogs. Now, Meta says it cannot read or monitor WhatsApp messages, but the company reviews WhatsApp business profiles. The question remains, how did these slip through? So weapons of war are being promoted on platforms that pledge to create a safer digital space. Even though it's just an investigative report, it still raises loud red alarms. Elon Musk's X and Meta's WhatsApp say they have rules in place, but the evidence suggests otherwise. And moving on, in the aftermath of its 12-day war with Israel, Iran is facing a new kind of fire, this time from within. A political inferno has erupted as hardliners and reformists lock horns over the future of the Islamic Republic. Last month's Israeli and US strikes not only took out senior military figures and damaged Iran's nuclear sites, they also exposed the fault lines in Tehran's corridors of power. In the weeks since the ceasefire was agreed on the 24th of June, hardline conservatives have emerged from their wartime silence, blasting reformist President Masoud Pezeshkian for even suggesting a return to diplomacy with the US. On the 15th of July, Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian urged the nation to look at the past with a critical eye. On social media, President Pezeshkian wrote that the window for diplomacy is open, a window that apparently the hardliners would rather shut and bolt. But what really set off the firestorm was the president's interview with the American conservative journalist Tucker Carlson, where he softened the notorious Death to America slogan, calling it symbolic. That was enough for some 24 hardline lawmakers to pounce. One conservative lawmaker even warned of parliamentary shift of approach, which many observers interpreted as a thinly veiled threat of impeachment. Another lawmaker suggested the president to be unfit for office, accusing him of whitewashing the United States despite the recent war. Hardliners claim the war proved their point, that talking to America doesn't stop the bombs, but reformists warn that such rigidity invites only isolation, or worse, another war. A cleric on state TV even used a fatwa to launch a fundraising campaign, putting a bounty on Donald Trump. It has reportedly raised at least $40 million so far, meaning that in the hardline mainstream, diplomacy is off the table, and vengeance, with the infamous Death to America rallying cry, is back in vogue. Still, the Iranian reformists aren't backing down. Last week, 200 economists and former officials urged Pezeshkian to reform domestic governance, re-engage with the West, and to combat corruption. Now, the former Prime Minister, Mohsen Mousavi, under house arrest since 2011, called for a national referendum to rewrite Iran's political contract. But the real power, the Iranian Revolutionary Guards and Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, remains silent. Ali Khamenei, now 86, has been seen in public just once since the conflict. Meanwhile, several political prisoners are being slapped with fresh sentences, making one thing clear. While the reformists may have ideas, the hardliners still hold the keys. And for our last story, let's move to Pakistan. It is a country where elections are largely symbolic. Pakistan has many political parties, an elected government, and a prime minister. But who actually rules the country is the Pakistani military. Political parties and candidates favored by the Pakistani military make their way to top positions. And the ones not on good terms with the military often end up out of power and behind bars, just like former Prime Minister and PTI founder Imran Khan. Amid this chaos, there's a new party vying for political space, launched by none other than Imran Khan's former wife, Reham Khan. Now, journalist turned politician Reham Khan has formally entered politics with the launch of her own party named the Pakistan Republic Party, the PRP. Reham Khan has said that her new party will act as the people's voice and hold the ruling elite accountable. While announcing her entry into Pakistani politics, Reham Khan said that she has come to replace all big politicians. She also made a reference to her former husband Imran Khan, saying that she has never accepted political positions before and that just She had joined a party once just for one person, but now she is standing on her own terms. Reham Khan also criticized Pakistan's dynasty politics, saying that only 5 families are sitting in the assembly. The newly formed party's manifesto will be out soon, which Reham Khan says will be rooted in Pakistan's constitutional values. So now a new party has entered Pakistani politics, which has had a history of military interference. And the extent of it can be known from the fact that till date, no Pakistani Prime Minister has completed a full 5-year tenure. And Imran Khan's ouster is a clear example of what happens when you are not liked by the military. Imran Khan won the elections in 2018. His critics suggested that he was handpicked by the military to get rid of the then Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, who was disqualified from the premiership in 2017 for not being honest and truthful. And in July of 2018, merely days before the elections, he was sentenced to jail on charges of corruption. But eventually Imran Khan too had a fallout with the military. He and his government were removed from power in April of 2022 through a parliamentary vote of no confidence. Khan blamed the military for his ouster, and since then, the 72-year-old cricketer turned politician has survived an assassination attempt. He has been behind bars since August of 2023 after he was booked in multiple cases. Now, Reham Khan has clearly entered volatile waters with the launch of her new party, and now it remains to be seen if her newly formed Pakistan Republic Party befriends the military or gets crushed by the same forces that took down her ex-husband. And that's all we have on the show for today. We will see you again tomorrow at the same time. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to Firstpost.
From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, shedding light on the world's top headlines, detailed analysis on the stories that matter the most to you. Catch it all on Spotlight at 6 p.m. India time and 12:30 GMT, only on Firstpost.